Welcome to this week at the workshop. Right, so Tuesday morning and we're on the MG. Now, because the filter's on the side, I can't exactly fill it with oil first, unfortunately. But when obviously we fill it at the top, it should fill up from there. So I am going to put a bit of oil on it to lubricate the ring though. Oh, that sounded a bit naughty, didn't it? So I've just got a bit of the old oil. I'm just putting around the rubber seal, a bit on the thread, and then we'll just screw it on. Now, theoretically, you should only do it as tight as you can do it by hand. You shouldn't need any tools at all to get that tightened up. So that's on now. So let's drop it down, do the air filter and fill it with oil. Right, so I just had to undo the top hose to be able to move the airbox lid enough to get the air filter in nicely. I probably could have rested it, but for the seconds it took just to undo and make it loose, it's done. So next is to fill it with oil, so we need to go around the other side on that, I think. Right, I think it takes 4.5 litres, so I've put 4 in for now. We'll let that all drain down. I've got to wait for the fuel filter to turn up in a couple of, well, about an hour, and then we'll change that and run it up, let it sit for a little bit longer, and then we'll check the levels. Okay, so the new fuel filter's turned up. I popped the lid off the airbox again because it was all a bit tight to get to. And then the pipe fittings that go in are 14 and these are 19. So it's just a matter of undoing it and swapping it over, noting the rate, the arrow of flow, and you don't do these up very tight, like it says 17 Newton meters. So let's quickly swap that over and then we'll get it fired up. Well, check the oil level and then get it fired up. Okay, fuel filter's changed. I've checked the oil, it's showing full on the dipstick, but obviously we've got to start it up yet and let it circulate. We'll get it up to temperature. The coolant's all okay, I've done that. And then we'll check the oil afterwards. So let's get it running. Right, it got up to temperature, so now I'll just let it sit for a bit and I'll check the oil level and then top up as necessary. There is a horrendous rattle from the exhaust internally. Obviously the baffles inside have all rattled about, so we're going to have to look for another back box for this, but it will do for now. So let's let this cool down, check the oil, and we'll go from there. Right, well, it's running with a quick jump start. It's not happy about it, I've got to be honest, but yeah, we now need to see if it moves. I've been told it doesn't, or if it does, it's not very good. So let's just get the Jag out of the way and see whether we can get it to move. Well, it just drove itself out, so I'm going to put the other wheels on, and then we'll have a good look and have a bit of a better drive because it's got a flat tyre. It did reverse in, but it did fight me, so yes, we need to crack on and change that gearbox and transfer box, I think. I don't know which one it's going to be, but we'll do both as we've got them on the shelf, and hopefully that will resolve it. Okay, so Wednesday morning, we're back in. I've taken the wheels off. I'm now going to release the handbrake from the handbrake handle, undo the gear knobs in preparation for the transfer box and gearbox to come out. So let's crack on with that. Gear knobs are very simple. This one just unscrews. This one has a 30mm bolt holding this on, so I've got to undo that as well. Right, so next is the handbrake. The cable goes through the centre console and clips onto the handbrake handle. Normally there's a clip holding the pin in, but the clip is missing. So basically we just got to pop that pin out, then the handbrake will be loose from the cable, and then there's a horseshoe clip holding it in the tunnel, which you just got to pop out. Right, this was actually missing the horseshoe clip as well, but if it'll focus. No, but the basically I've pushed the cable through the hole now, so that is now free. Obviously it's still sticking there a touch, but once you pull the cable from underneath, that will come through. Okay, so we're underneath it, and the handbrake cables, there you go, we can just pull out. So that is now free. There's a lot of fluid on this, I don't know where that's come from. Anyway, right, we've got to undo the rear prop with the rear prop socket. I don't know if I'm going to take it off here yet. I don't know if I'll be able to just sort of move it out the way and maybe tie it up to the exhaust so it's out the way. So let's undo those. Okay, I think it is just the transfer box. When you turn this, that should turn like that. But we can actually turn that independently, and we can turn this independently. Sometimes it'll catch, other times it won't. So yeah, I think it's a transfer box. There you go, look, that spins free as a bird, and you can hear it. Duk, 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 duk. Hang on, look, that's spinning, not catching. Oh, there you go, now it's caught. Oh no, it stopped again. So something is definitely wrong. There we go, it's caught now inside the transfer box. So yeah, I think we'll just change the transfer box. I think the gearbox is going to be all right. Yeah, I think it's that. So let's get this one undone. Right, so I'm draining the transfer box. It seems to be just water and sludge coming out, which doesn't help. And it's hardly coming out at all, even though I've undone the fill plug as well. But anyway, so next job, there is like a clip on this bit here, which I've popped off. And now I'm undoing the bolt that holds it to the lever. That's a 7mm headed bolt with an 8mm nut on the back. So I've just got to quickly undo those. Right, next job was to, I don't know how easy this is going to be for me to show you. Probably not very easy, but if I move it out the way, this arm is bolted, well, it's slid onto the handle up there, and there's a 10mm bolt that pinches it onto the spline. So loosen the 10mm and then this will come off of the spline. I don't know if I'll, hang on, I might better show you on the one on the floor. Yeah, there we go. So this is pinched onto that. So you've got to reach up, undo the 10mm bolt, loosen the pinch, and it will slide off of there. So that's that bit done on there. So next I think is going to be going around and undoing the bolts. We also need to drop the gearbox cross member, probably, to be able to get to all the bolts, but I'll see. I'll start undoing the ones that I can get to first. Okay, I have undone the gearbox cross member. I've left it hanging on them too, because once you get it out, it's sometimes really difficult to get back in. So I've swung it around there, used some vice grips or some Stilson, sorry, to pull it round. So now this is only being held by the gearbox jack. So now I can lower this down to be able to get to the top bolts of the transfer box, and then it won't be far off coming out. Okay, so I've pulled the loom out that connects, let's get this out of the way. There's a plug on the side of the transfer box. There's a cable there that plugs in, And there's the 2 spade connectors on the diff lock switch, which is further at the front. Now, we've got to get this bolt here. Now, this is actually a threaded, bit of threaded bar, and it threads into the gearbox, as well as having this nut on here and threads into the transfer box. So what you have to do is loosen this nut and put another nut on, nip them together, and then wind the stud all the way out. So that's the next job. And there it is, that's the bolt. And as you can see, this shoulder means that this won't pass, the transfer box can't pass over the top of that. So you have to put a second nut on and then wind the whole stud out. Right, I had to drop the exhaust as well because the hanger was getting caught under here. So I had to undo that, undo it from the main exhaust, and then drop it off this hanger here, and it is out the way. So now we should be able to drop the transfer box. And there she is. She is out. Nice big bit of space now. I'll have to get the new one back in. Not as strong as I used to be. I couldn't lift the transfer box onto the transmission jack. I could get it up here, but I couldn't get it past onto the hook. So we had to use the forklift. So a sad day. Maybe I need to start going down the gym. Nah, I'll just use a forklift. Right, so now we've got to change the handbrake cable. They've got a little clip, where is it? On there, on that little bit there where it goes through the drum. And then this hooks on the back of the, this metal plate here behind. And obviously you put your pin back in and then your spring arrangement, etc. Probably plenty of how-tos on eBay, on YouTube, but yeah, that's basically what you do. So I'm going to feed this one back in. Right, okay, we have the transfer box back in, we have the exhaust back on, we have the cross member back in, we have the wiring all plugged in, the breather run. So it's just a matter now of getting the props back on. The front, I think, is going to be a bit of an issue because it is resting on the anti-roll bar because of the lift, and it doesn't quite reach. So I think we're going to have to try and jack this up a little bit just to give us a bit of room on the anti-roll bar to see if we can get it in. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait till we get it on the floor and get some weight on the axle so that I can put the shock back on. Sorry, the prop back on. So yeah, not ideal. So if you've got anti-roll bars and you want a big lift, it's going to put a hell of a lot of stress on your prop. Anyway, prop time then, rear prop first. Right, everything's back together. I've greased all the props up. It's just a matter of putting the wheels back on, and then I suppose we better see if it runs and drives. It's going to need a few bits for an MOT, I think, but we'll have to put it through and see what they say. Okay, we're on the ground, the wheels are on, and it's running, so let's see if it'll move. Sorry, I couldn't get in it while filming. Oh, yeah, we are on the move. Woohoo! There we go. So that's what it was. So we got first. Have we got low range? Yeah, we got low range. That's it. We are driving. I mean, it's making all hell of a noise, but we're now driving. I think the brakes might need a clean up, but we're there. Ooh, yeah, brakes work, and we've got reverse. Yeah, there we go. It was the transfer box. Bit of a noise from the rear, so I thought I'd check the diff fluid. Yeah, look at it. Loads of water come out, and then there's this. So we're going to have to let this drain for a bit, and we're going to have to top up with fresh, because that is manky. Rear diff's all topped up. We should do the front, shouldn't we? So let's see what's coming out of the front one. Yeah, that's like soup and water as well. So Definitely needed doing. I think I'm going to do the gearbox as well. Maybe not in this video, because it's getting near the end of Thursday and I'm busy tomorrow. So maybe at the beginning of next week we'll do the gearbox as well, I think. Probably wise. Right, so that's this week done. Tomorrow I'm off site, being Friday. I've got other things to do, so I won't be here. So I'll end this one here. I'll be back Saturday, just doing a couple of bits. I might do the gearbox oil change on that if I get the time. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share. Have a fantastic weekend. It's supposed to be very sunny. And I'll see you next week in another video. Have a good one, guys.